Welcome to the 7th proof video, off-road penalty. The main objective of this video is going to be to race a clean race in Sherbetland and Delfino Square and Luigi Stadium, and then to just change a factor in Shy Guy Beach. That factor is going to be I'm going to go through the water, and I'm going to see if there is an off-road penalty. So all the rest of the races, the main objective is to avoid penalties. I can go ahead and get bonuses now in any of the other races in race 1, 3, or 4, but I don't want to do it in 2 because I don't want to confuse whether I'm getting a penalty or not. So as you're watching Sherbetland here, the main thing is you just got to determine, is this a 3-star quality race? And I think you'll see that I don't have any collisions or anything else, any other penalties, and I actually get a couple bonuses. So and I get a better time than my control video. So this really is a 3-star quality race, and you're going to see the same thing in the 3rd and 4th races. And then in Shy Guy Beach, I'll go off the road quite a bit, 20-some seconds, and I'm going to end up with 2 stars. And now you're going to notice also that I'm driving the Dolphin Dasher. The reason is I've been trying to be consistent in all these videos. I keep doing the same banana cup, I keep doing Daisy, and I keep doing the mock bake, just so people understand there's no other factors involved. I have tested other characters on other vehicles, and there has been no change in penalties or maximum times. But just to make everything as simple as possible, I didn't change any of those factors in any of these videos as I'm making my proof for all these penalties and bonuses. The reason I changed to the Dolphin Dash in this one is because I thought people might wonder if I incurred the penalty on the mock bike. People might say, well, what if you take Magic Cruiser or Dolphin Dasher or something like that goes through off-road really well and doesn't seem to slow down, then you probably don't get a penalty. Well, I'm going to show that it doesn't matter what vehicle, how good they are at off-roading. It's the fact that you're off-roading is getting the penalty, not the quality of the vehicle going through the off-road. So that's the reason I changed the Dolphin Dasher. Everything else is pretty much the same. I try to stay with Daisy, and obviously the same cup, just for consistency. And again, you can see now I'm free to drag items behind my vehicle. Again, I proved that earlier, so I'm not incurring any penalties. So I'm gonna let this video play out, and I'll join you back on Shy Guy Beach.
Oh yeah!
Okay, here we go on Shy Guy Beach. In Shy Guy Beach, I'm going to analyze every bit I'm off-road, just like I did in my first control video. I'm going to put every little split second I'm going through there. As I explained in the control video, I can't be exactly certain if maybe you get like the first half second in off-road for free, or there's 5 seconds total free for Shy Guy Beach. I don't know exactly how they do the calculation, if they give you some free, but again, it doesn't matter when you're analyzing it, because then it just means the max time is that much lower. So I think it's 220, maybe it's 215, and you get 5 seconds free. It just doesn't really matter as my figuring, because I still have to get around 209, if I'm not using any items off the water to get, or better, to get 3 stars. So in this video, I'm going to add up every little bit, and then at the very end I'm going to do a pretty lengthy off-road and really add to my total, and then I'm going to see what happens. And of course, I've already told you this, that I'm going to get 2 stars at the end of the video. And if you've watched the Sherbetland and you're going to watch the last 2 races, I think it'll be obvious that those are 3-star quality races. And in this one, really the only difference that I made is the extra time off-road on the third lap at the very end. So we're going to just hang in here and wait and watch for the big off-road move. Just trying to avoid again, making sure I'm not getting any bonuses. Yeah, I am dragging items behind myself to protect my... I'm going to hit my items, but I'm not hitting any CPUs. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to be off-road for over 11 seconds. And the question is that enough to cause the failure and get 2 stars? Of course the answer is going to be yes. And at the end you're going to see my analysis, and I'm going to say it's about 2.5 seconds for every second you're off-road is the penalty right there. So a total of almost 15.5 seconds times 2.5. Now, you know, you might look at the 2.5 and say, well, is it really 2.5? And to be honest, I can't tell you exactly. It's too hard to calculate out. I did a bunch of races and compared it. It's pretty close to that. I've had a few times though where I've been like within 100th second I thought I missed and I actually made it, or I mean like 2/100ths of a second, or 2/10ths even. But it's, you know, it's right on, and it's hard for me to know exactly when they measure when you're going off-road. Does both wheels have to be completely on and off? I mean, is it, you know, if you freeze frame Shy Guy Beach and you watch the water splash, is that part of it? You know, because sometimes it doesn't start immediately, and sometimes it goes on as you get out of the water. It's just, you know, if I'm within a couple tenths of a second, I figure I'm probably pretty darn close, and that's where I'm at on that one. So, am I exactly sure it's 2.5 seconds like I am on some of the other calculations, like the fixed hazard, you know, being 3.5 seconds? No, I can't be 100% certain. But it's pretty darn close. So, you know, if somebody wants to play around and do it more on a course where you can control it, I would say do something other than Shy Guy Beach because there's so much of it. You know, do something like a Luigi Stadium where you can drive off-road and you can be a little more exact. Then you can measure it. And you can race it over and over again if you want, and try to figure if it's exactly 2.5 seconds. My hypothesis is you're going to be pretty darn close to 2.5 seconds per second off-road. So, but I don't care at this moment in time to pursue it to be exact, because the off-road penalty, it's interesting and it's important to know, but in most races it's not going to affect you. I mean, most people aren't going off-road. I mean, you're not going to try to go pretty much off-road on Delfino Square here. I mean, the grass is really slow. And if you cut it a little bit, you know, for a split second, you're talking minor penalty. So it only really plays a factor in certain races like DK Mountain, Shy Guy Beach, and, you know, a few others where it doesn't really slow you to go off-road and it's tempting. Or even there's Bowser Castle, you can travel off the main path to the red carpeting. You know, so it's good to know about, to try to avoid it, but you know, if you hit a little off-road, it's not that big of a deal. And it's just those courses where you can go off-road easily, you really have to be aware of it. So I always hesitate to talk about this one too much because it really isn't that big a deal. It really doesn't come into play very often. It's just something to be aware of. So the exactness of the penalty, you know, that it's 2.5 times, I don't feel it's that important to know that, you know, down to the, is it 2.4 or 2.5 or 2.6, you know, times each second. I just don't feel it's that important to know, because the main thing is just to avoid your off-road, or do it just slightly. Like DK Mountain's a perfect example. I mean, you should try to avoid it most of the time, but if you want to jump the gap down and you have to go in the, you know, grass a little bit for a split second, you know, it's worth it because you can shave off a second or so taking the shortcut. So, so you gotta be aware of it. That's about it. So that's I think pretty much all I have to say. Enough about off-road penalty. I just, you know, people sometimes go, you can't touch off-road at all. That's why I'm just trying to explain that it's just not that important. Just be careful. And that's about all I have to say. So I'm gonna wrap up my rambling right now. You can just watch the rest of the video. Make sure that this is a 3-star quality race, and you'll see I get 2 stars at the end. And I think it become obvious that was because I was off-road for those extra 11 seconds. So thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you in number 8.
Oh yeah! yeah!